just when we do to some extent, we're kind of ambassadors for the sport, and especially when you're on the show, you're high profile. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing that he got reprimanded, so to speak, but I think it's also a good thing he's getting a shot in the UFC again. So I think it worked out alright.
Right, absolutely. And I think Dana was in a tough spot himself. Just like you said, he couldn't just let that go. It's not something that you let go, obviously. And
especially if you're trying to get MMA more in the mainstream and get people to respect those real athletes. That's you gotta get to be running around.
Right, and that's one of the main reasons of the show is to make new stars, obviously for Dana, but show the sport off to the rest of the world, and that wasn't what they wanted to show off, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I think the way they handled it was good for Jesse too. They put the stop to that before anyone else did. They did the damage control, and they punished Jesse, and so I think it was handled pretty well. And I like the way they handled it about making him they didn't give it to anyone. They made TV come back and fight for it, and it was a really good fight. So I think all in all, the situation was handled as best probably could have been.
I gotta agree with you, and I'm sure Jesse has changed his ways, definitely, because he really seemed like he had his heart into it. He just had that split personality at night,
Yeah, I I've talked to him since, and he definitely realizes what he did, and he definitely made changes. And definitely
I hear you.
calmed down. But like I said, it's crazy, man. 2 weeks in, you're just crazy. You're just a different person. It's weird. So I understand the whole blow-off team part. Jesse's personality, you saw him on the show. I mean, he was really like that. He was just a wild dude. I'm glad he was there. He was definitely one of the there. Just one of the most entertaining. They didn't show a lot of it, but any time of the day, pretty much they were
Right, for sure.
he could laugh and stuff. So he's just kind of a wild guy. He just cuts loose every once in a while.
And that's kind of weird, like 1 week you're preparing for a fight with him for probably no doubt the biggest fight of your career for the finale, and next thing you know, the next day you're sitting with Dana watching CB and somebody else competing, right?
No, I didn't see that one coming.
That was kind of a shocker. But speaking of Jesse and CB, I gotta ask you, the two of them have an upcoming fight this weekend, and what do you think is gonna happen?
I don't know. I'm really excited to see that fight, actually. JC is definitely, he's a workaholic. He's gonna pressure CB the whole time, and I don't think he's gonna get tired. I think it's just a question of can JC take CB down. I think CB's got a little bit better strikes than jiu-jitsu, and it's just gonna come down to who wants it, and he's got more in the tank. But I think CB is more dangerous on different levels, but JT is just good at what he does. So I'm curious to see what happens.
And speaking of CB, that was the one guy you had to fight twice. What was that like? Walk us through the two matches.
Well, the first match, obviously, you saw it was a really tough fight for me, and he was, up to that point, he just kind of walked through everyone he fought. So, I was taking it very seriously. I was definitely, worried about the fight. I knew it was going to be a tough fight, and it was. He took me into deeper waters than I've been before. Really down deep, and I think I came out better for it. It was a good experience for me. And the second fight, I definitely knew, I fought the guy before. I knew it was going to be hard, so I trained.
Right, absolutely.
I trained for the fight, so came prepared. Unfortunately, it didn't right.
And I gotta tell you, those were two amazing victories. I gotta congratulate you on those, because CB was a really tough dude. You could tell, and man, you just really went all out in those two, and especially the first one. You could just tell you were going through the roof, man. You were going ecstatic after that one.
Yeah, he's really good, really tough, and for the amount of time he's been doing it, I think he's going to see good things from CB.
Kind of cocky too, but Forrest didn't like that, huh? About CB.
Yeah, I don't know. CB, he's a confident guy. He just comes off, he's not in the house. He wasn't an asshole at all. He wasn't,
Right.
He's kind of quiet and didn't really mess with anyone. He's just, that's just his persona in the fight game that works for him. He knows he's good. He's confident in his abilities. So yeah.
And hey, nothing wrong when you.
Like that some people do.
Right, and nothing wrong with it when you can back it up, like Forrest said, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that was a lot of truth when we said, nothing worse than a guy that talks crap and backs it up.
You gotta hate that. But I gotta ask you, like, one big topic of discussion going on around in the world of MMA, so to speak, right now is the whole new weight division situation, and there's been a lot of talk. Some commissioners have already accepted the new changes, and Dana White went public and said that the UFC will not change. What is your opinion of the whole situation?
I was actually having this discussion with someone the other day, and although I would love it if the UFC could do some sort of into the weight category for me, which would be perfect. I think that someone brought up the point, and I agree, that one of the mistakes, like, say, boxing, for example, was like, there's too many weight divisions, like, you don't care about who's on top, Like,
right.
people who make, unless you're a hardcore fan, you don't keep track of, like, 7 different weight division champions, Like, that's kind of streamlined. You have a lightweight champion, you have a welterweight champion, and a middleweight.
You have like 12 champions.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to keep up with it. Yeah, so I think it's one that they've done, it works really well, and I think about it, and I wouldn't change it either.
Right, absolutely. And I think when you have such a breakdown where it's like 5 or 10 pounds difference sometimes, I mean, guys are going to start switching on and off again from categories all the time, so it's going to be...
Right, it definitely, exactly. Yeah, it changes a lot of the dynamic, and you can just kind of ride out fights and change weight classes according to... I don't know. It definitely makes it more interesting. It has more variables, but for the sake of what they're trying to do, I think it's good right now. Unless it gets ever to the, super ultra, they get started on a point where it's just the sport of the world, and I'm sure there'll be more weight classes, but for now, I think it's good.
Absolutely. And, while we're on this topic, I got to ask you a question. We had a little thing at one of our sites. We run a network of sites that, cover pro wrestling and MMA, and we had this person who didn't give us a name, Amir #1 fan, so I guess it's your #1 fan. But they wanted to know, they asked you a question. Seeing that Anderson Silva is wiping out the whole division, with a couple of wins, he can maybe fight for the title, or will you instead move down to the welterweight division? P.S. I seriously think that you have the style to beat Silva.
That's something, again, that's been coming up recently. I have people ask me, I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to drop yet down to welterweight. I think that I could.
Right.
Easy drop for me, but it's definitely within the realm of possibility. I just haven't really decided if that's what's best for me.
So there you have it, Amir #1 fan. I guess the answer is that he's definitely going for gold, but we'll see.
I know. If you ask questions, I'm like, well, I really don't know.
Yeah, I hear you, man. We had a few questions submitted. People like you. I got to tell you, because we had quite a few questions submitted for you, and I just picked a few randomly. But let's see. I have another one from Charles Chuck Chambers from Nevada, and he wants to know: did the cameras or production crew on the show distract you at all? And if you wouldn't have won Ultimate Fighter 7, who would you have rather had win it?
The cameras and stuff. It's actually, I think they do a good job in the interview process of screening out who responds well to the cameras and who doesn't. My experience with the guys on the show were camera shy at all, and we all get used to it pretty quick. And again, like I said, it prepares you for your future career when you're doing UFCs and stuff. You got to be used to that camera stuff. If you haven't seen it before, it can throw you off for sure. But like about a weekend, you kind of forget the cameras are there, and you learn little tricks. Like you watch your fight time, you can just kind of sit in your room and don't talk about anything relevant to the show. You'll get your fight time, and if you want to be on camera, it'll be there. So no, it doesn't bother you if you don't let it, but if you think about it, for sure, yeah, well.
Right.
What was the second part of that question?
It was, and if you wouldn't have won the Ultimate Fighter 7, who would you have rather had win it?
I don't know. I think, I liked everyone on the show. Style-wise, I think, people would do well playing the show. Any of the guys in the top 4, JP and CG, I think Matt Brown would have done great.
Yeah, Matt Brown was a killer, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, they didn't televise it, but his fight on the fight night, he fought Matt Arroyo. Yeah, he looked really good.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. That would make sense. The guy, just his style was very aggressive, and you gotta love that. Everybody loves that in a fighter, seeing that aggression,
Yeah. No, he was definitely one of my closest friends on the show, and his fighting style was